Hello, Pastor Danielle Bridgeforth here with our fourth week of Lent 2022 devotional. As we continue our trek through the series, The Way of Love by Bishop Michael Curry from the Episcopal Church, this week we turn our attention to the principle of worship. We'll use as a definition of worship simply gathering in community weekly to thank, praise, and dwell with God. Gathering in community weekly to thank, praise, and dwell with God. Now, certainly, over the 2 years that we have been involved in the COVID-19 pandemic, we have all had to reimagine and understand what it means to be together. And we have rightly decided that we can do many things virtually that we used to come in person to do. Nevertheless, I want to stress to us today that community still matters. We see the importance of community established all throughout the biblical scriptures. But let me turn your attention today to a very interesting passage in the New Testament book of Mark. In the Gospel of Mark, chapter 3, I'm reading from the Passion Translation, we find Jesus deciding upon and calling his disciples. Here's what the Bible says in Mark 3, beginning at verse 13. Afterward, Jesus went up to a mountainside and called to himself those he wanted to be his close companions. So they went up with him. He appointed the 12, whom he named apostles. He wanted them to be continually at his side as his friends, so that he could send them out to preach and have authority to heal the sick and to cast out demons. I like the terminology there about Jesus's first mission in calling these men to him was to be together with them to develop relationship. Friends, community still matters. And even Jesus shows us that while he calls them individually by name, he makes them who they're going to be in community. Community still matters to us today for at least 3 reasons. First of all, we learn better in community. It's been proven scientifically, and research has shown that a healthy classroom environment for learning is much better than learning in isolation and on your own. And I stress the word healthy there. For we learn better when we can dialogue, when we are required to articulate what we think and what we're hearing. The rigor of learning to listen and to share happens in community, and that develops our learning principles much, much better. So sure, we can listen to a lesson and observe a sermon on our own, but it's something about having to talk about it, having to say what it means to you, and being asked how it applies to your life by someone with whom you're in community that helps you to learn and apply it better. But not only do we learn better in community, we also live better in community. Friends, we can't be our best selves absent true community. We need to be held accountable, and we need to be responsible to others to truly live our best lives. I recently had an experience where I met someone who had very good postings on social media. Well filtered pictures and videos, and well manicured and scripted words that they wrote in their posts. Nevertheless, in real life, they actually lacked the kindness, the wisdom, and the ethics that all of their posts purported that they had. What am I saying? We can fool others, but we really can't fool ourselves. You are who you are, and you will live better in community when you will be held accountable and asked to walk authentically with others. But thirdly, not only do we learn better and live better in community, I believe that we will all agree that we love better in community. Things like forgiveness, growth, patience really don't happen in isolation. We need one another to help us to grow. We need one another to help us to flourish and to thrive. The fruit of the Spirit, which began with love, is not something that can really happen on our own, because we need one another to really bring those fruit out in us. Say it this way. I used to try to make plants grow. And because I really wasn't good at it, I would just get one at a time. And I started to have one and it would flourish for a little while, but then it would die. But do you know that today I have 6 plants that are thriving and flourishing in my living room? And I believe that one of the reasons why is because I have a group of them and they're growing in community. They are learning to love and to flourish as one. So friends, community still matters. Yes, we can do things virtually, but please don't neglect the importance of gathering together in community. It might look different, but we need people to help us to learn, to help us to live, and help us to love better. So make it a commitment that you first come and be with Christ, develop and cultivate a dynamic relationship, and then find a community of believers, those who will trust you, those who will push you, those who will engage and bring the best out of you. Because community still matters, and your best life will be lived, not in isolation, but with one another. I'm praying for you and I love you. Have a wonderful week. We'll talk to you soon.